as much as I can tonight.
Y'all want to make our intro short?
Sleep soon because I got to be on set early in the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Knock this out so we
Hold on, wait a minute.
as soon as possible.
I accidentally hit the button. So we live. Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Yo, what's up,
Trying to get these technical difficulties going across.
difficulties, you know, this your chance to ask any questions if you got them.
Yes, indeed.
That's why it's real shit, real estate. You know what I'm saying? The realest shit goes on. You know what I'm saying? We troubleshoot. We do all the great things. But y'all know, man, we blessed to be back this week. Man, it's been a while, fellas. We had a lot of things going on, you know, respectively with business. I know you guys had an amazing trip to was it we y'all go to the DR? Where y'all go?
Yeah, we went to the DR.
Man, that room was powerful.
Absolutely.
That was a powerful room.
Absolutely, man. You know, we waiting on Brian to get his audio set up, but we're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off, man. Like, this thing is gonna be crazy.
You don't tour yourself, huh, Byron?
Huh?
See, Byron been all over the world himself.
I know, man.
What, LA?
Yeah, he on a little mini world tour. I think him and Sharnice probably got the most stamps on the passport and the and the most points.
Hey, listen, man. You know, we did it in LA, San Diego. You know, that was real good. Let me see what else I've been. I ain't did no other travel after that, man. I sat down for a while, man.
That's
How
100.
was that event yesterday?
Bro, it was dope, man. You know, I think that was y'all able to attend the Wall Street Trapper in Houston? Did y'all go? And hit 500 in Houston? Man, they bought the city out, man. It was a great experience. It was so dope to see, you know, so many entrepreneurs in the city come to one place, man. And you know what I'm saying, they dropped so much game. It was just dope, man. You know what I'm saying? Get a chance to meet a lot of people that's been following us, especially when you get it from your own city. There's nothing like, you know, love from your people, man. So yeah, that was too dope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we're gonna go ahead and kick off the intro. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do this thing. I was thinking about probably like hitting a little pause button, right? So we can get this audio right. In the background, and then that way we can kind of just build everything up from here.
For sure.
Let me see. Brian, how we looking on the audio right now?
You can't hear me, huh?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
We can hear you now. We just gonna rock.
You still here?
Yes, we can hear you.
Here?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
All right, let's rock and roll. I don't need nothing then.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, we're gonna run.
Echo?
It's a little bit of echo, but we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock.
We was doing too much then.
Okay. All right. Let's go. You on the Yeti as the audio source or the computer?
Yeah. Let me double check. I know the output is the computer.
Okay. Well, that's what we're gonna have to do then.
Let's see. Sound input.
All right. Here we go.
No, the input is the camera. The cam link.
Okay. Well, if you can make that audio input the Yeti, we're gonna be on point.
But I think what I did, y'all couldn't hear me. Let's see. Tell me if y'all can hear me in 3 seconds. 3, 2.
Test the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Does it sound clear?
Clear enough. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Let's run it. All right, y'all. Yeah, Brian, you want to rock? You think we should rock the intro or just go straight to it?
Shit, we
I think this time. Let's go straight to it, man. Let's go raw. Let's go raw and real.
We're gonna go straight.
First time being a guest, man.
Absolutely. So listen, I'm gonna go ahead and do the introduction because listen, I know it's a lot of people gonna get a ton of value from this particular podcast. Probably one of the most value you're gonna receive from any of the podcasts. Why is that? Because we literally finna teach you the basics on how to buy properties. Listen to me, buy properties with no cash or credit, right? And literally get to making money and creating cash flow for yourself with little to no money, right? just leveraging different skills, right? That you're gonna learn from this particular podcast. So I'm excited. This is my business partner. You know what I mean? I'm talking about somebody who's put millions on the board in terms of only using creative finance deals. So, if you don't learn nothing from today, then I don't know what's going on with your brain situation, because this is definitely going to be jam packed with a lot of gems and a lot of great information. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guy, my business partner, probably one of the smartest, people I know, Byron Iregbu. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
What up,
Hey,
bro?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
You looking like my twin, man. We didn't plan it.
Yeah, man, we gotta support our guys out there, ATL, man. Good guys. So, man, look, thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for thinking enough of me that you guys want me on y'all platform, and I got a lot of respect for all of you guys, right? On so many different levels, man. So many different levels. I mean, Byron was one of those missing pieces that I needed, integrator, right? I knew where I was going to be able to achieve without that piece, right? And when Byron came, I knew it was going to be a whole different thing. So big respect from my partner Byron. Oneil, man, I've been watching Oneil for probably about 4 years now. Big respect to him, man. Big action taker. And Byron, man, I just always loved his character, man. He's not too loud. He's real humble, humility, man, and out there, teaching and making things happen and giving back. The big step he took to commit and propose to a queen, man. That takes a big thing. So congratulations on that too, man. So
Thank you.
yeah. So real quick, man, I don't know if you guys want me to introduce myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name is Brian Iregbu. I started investing in 2014. When I very first started, I didn't have much money. Credit was trash, and I came into the business and learned creative finance. My original mentor told me, "Look, first learn how to make money in real estate without money and credit before you learn how to make money in real estate with money and credit." Because people that don't know anything about real estate but got money and credit, that is usually an excuse to do a bunch of bad deals, right? So find out how to make it work with not much resources. Be resourceful. So that's my story. I was a high school teacher for about 4 years. I worked in the oil and gas field with a 6-figure job for about 4 or 5 years. And then I've been a full-time entrepreneur for a little over 2 years now with six different companies. So that's my story. And man, I'm just here to give value. Enough about me. What y'all want to know?
Hey.
Man, we got to take it back to the beginning, man, when you first started.
Right.
So I know when you first started, you wasn't 100% in real estate for, I don't want to say your story, but when you first started, you didn't take it 100% serious as you should. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So when I first started the business, man, from the little town that I was in, you making $100,000, you're it. Everybody's looking at you like, man, you made it, right? Especially when you're working for one of the top 3 companies in the world. Sometimes toggling number 1 and number 2, ExxonMobil, right? And my original goal was like, look, man, I got this cush job, right? We got pensions still in 2000 and at the time was 18, 17. We have pensions. Shoot, you put up 7%, they give you an 8% match. Everybody retires here in this discipline. They're gonna leave with $2 million, and I thought that was it. I was like, you know what? If I can just do real estate on the side and make an extra $30,000-$40,000 on my income, I'm gonna be okay, right? And that was my original goal, man. And what happened was I started hanging around entrepreneurs that was doing a lot bigger things, right? So I was in a little small town, little small metropolitan city. In my metropolitan city, I'm like, this guy, right? And then I started to just kind of network and get more exposure. And I seen that there was guys making $100,000 a month doing the exact same thing full time. What my side business was. So that's how I started, man. And what I quickly found out is that, hey, man, at the time, I still don't have any kids, right? So at the time, I was making really good money. So it wasn't a money thing that I needed, right? If you guys don't have a spouse, don't have kids, I'm telling you, when you make, let's say, definitely over 100,000, you have plenty enough for you. My thing was I wanted freedom. And so I quickly shifted to cash flow because the very first property I got, it was like $400 a month. And, a lot of people would scoff at that, like, oh, what am I going to do with $400 a month, right? But not understanding when you keep doing that, right? You keep doing it in a short period of time, just a few years, eventually you replace your actual working income. And now you no longer have to trade your time for money. You actually bring value to the marketplace by providing shelter for people, and they pay you every single month. And so when that light bulb clicked, Oneil, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to continue to stack up these streams of income until they get so great that I don't need to clock in. I can be anywhere in the world and money still comes in. And the biggest issue with that is that I didn't have much money and I had terrible credit. And so I actually got in the game, still able to accomplish that with creative finance. 2021, finally got my credit to where I needed to be, but I still have never used a bank loan to buy anything I own. So that's my story, man.
Wow. Man, that's powerful, bro. To hear your story.
Do it too.
Man, I love it, bro. So let me ask you this, right? Like you said, you had a mentor and things. What moved you to say, you know what, I need help in this, right? Talk about that experience with your first mentor.
Yeah, so my thing was, it just was scary to me, right? Because I knew I didn't have the credit, I didn't have the money for me to approach somebody, and everybody's different. Man, a good friend of mine, Max Maxwell, he watched YouTube University and got after it, right? So for me, it was scary to be like, I know I don't have the money, I don't have the credit. How do I go up to somebody and say, I'm gonna buy your house cash for 120,000? 120 where, right? And so I couldn't get over that mental block, and so I needed more confirmation of how does this really work. This sounds like a fucking scam. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, this real shit, real estate. We good.
You cuss.
Oh, the real shit. Okay, I'm on the right place. So I was like, bro, that shit sound like a scam. No money, no credit. You full of shit, right? And what I noticed, I started looking at examples, and I kept seeing people like, no, people are really buying properties and flipping properties, right? Keep buying and holding and reselling with no money and no credit. And I was like, this is for me, right? This is all I got. And so that's what kind of turned it on, that I needed a mentor, because I was uncomfortable with the fact of telling somebody, hey, I can pay you $150, knowing I didn't have it. I really had to get more instruction and more detailed and more organized training on how does that really work. It sounds sketchy, right? And it's not sketchy at all. It's real as it can be.
Wow. That's amazing. So tell me this, Brian, what was the catalyst that brought you into creative finance as a specific niche? Was it something that you was just like, yo, like, you know what, I'm going all in on, huh?
I didn't have it. I wanted to get in, and I didn't have the resources.
Got you. So you went into.
Get in, I didn't have a choice. So here's the mindset between most people. Man, I see these guys on YouTube. I see these guys on Facebook. Everybody on Instagram. God, man, they're posting 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 checks. Man, they're taking vacations, right? And the mindset of most people is kind of like, well, I need to save enough money so I can get into real estate. Or I need to get my credit right till I get into real estate. And I, unfortunately, because of exposure, I seen the right ads, I seen the right people, I seen the right examples that, hey, these people was doing it without money and credit, right? And when I seen enough examples, I was like, this is real. So that was my thing. That's why I niched out on creative finance, because I knew that at the time, see, my situation was a little different. I wasn't hurting for money. I landed a good job, right? I landed a good job with not a lot of responsibilities. So it wasn't a money thing I was chasing for. I was chasing the freedom. But I knew freedom, I needed cash flow. But I knew I couldn't get any cash flow without any money or credit. So creative finance is all I had.
Wow. Wow.
Or I had to wait like most people do, when they don't have to. And they can start today.
So you're talking about freedom. Do you actually like real estate, or you like what real estate can provide for you? Let's talk about that. Because a lot of people, they don't like real estate, but real estate can provide a lot of positive things in your life. So let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, the latter, man. I'm not gonna come up here and paint a picture like, oh, I'm in love with houses. Like, it's a house. It's boring, right? Yeah, of course you got some late estate or whatever, but that's usually not the properties that we're profiting off of and making money off of, right? It's usually not the lavish Instagram house that is like, 6,000 square feet. So the houses that we make a living off of, I'm not interested in at all, right? Not to look at, not to walk through, not to. It's 4 walls and a roof. I'm interested in the lifestyle that real estate can provide. Point blank. Not real estate. And I will tell you one of the things that did work for me. I do love people. I'm excited to hear new stories, meet strangers, right? So that worked out for me, because that's basically all real estate is. When you're actually looking to close transactions, it's a people business. But real estate itself, the structures, I could care less about. It's boring to me.
No, that's real. That's
Yeah,
real.
real, man. But it'll provide you. What it will do for you is it will free you, so you can do what is fulfilling, what is fun to you, what it is exciting and thrilling for you.
Facts. No, I love that, man. So let me ask you this, because I know the people here, the title Creative Finance Wealth Hacks. So let's start from the beginning, right? I got somebody on here that's brand new to it. They like, man, okay, I see this creative finance. He's talking about somebody getting started with little to no money down. What's the first thing you'll tell somebody to get started? What's some advice you can get them?
Absolutely. So in the very beginning, don't completely ditch. You need to have a credit score. You need to have some money in your pocket. Throw that out of the window. Okay. What you really need to think is that I need to solve the seller's problem. The seller is at point A, and they're trying to get to point B. Okay. So how do I come up with an offer that's going to help them get from point A to point B without me having to use my money or credit, right? And that's when we be resourceful and we leverage other things. So let me give you an example. A seller is looking to sell the property, right? They're looking to get a certain amount of money. The very first thing we're thinking is that, okay, well, we usually always start with cash, because wholesaling is if it's quick, hey, if we can wholesale it, boom. But what we're looking at is, okay, how can I get you what you're looking to get, like your price, or get you moved, to get you where you need to be without having to pay for it? All right, can I use your mortgage, right? So let's say you have a mortgage, right? You've been pre-approved, you paid, you got great credit, and you went and financed your $250,000 house. So when you're looking to sell, the very first thing I'm looking at is that, can I leverage your existing financing, right, to make a deal work and be able to give you maybe some equity over time? And when I'm paying you money for this property, whether I pay you right now or pay you later, it's going to be somebody else's money, okay? And so that's the very first thing when you start with creative finance. Don't think about money. Don't think about credit. You don't need money or credit. You're always going to see, how can you leverage the seller's credit? How can you leverage somebody else's money and whatever their wants are? Maybe they want a house. They want to live in a 3-bed, 2-bathroom, and they're willing to pay $1,500 a month. Well, I'm going to leverage that resource to see if I can get the seller what they need. And then in between is where I profit, is where I create cash flow. So hope that makes sense. We can talk about more specifics and I can break it down even more. But the
You
biggest
drop
thing is
bars.
we're finding the seller's problem just like a doctor, right? Check the temperature. Okay, what's your blood pressure? Where does it hurt? Right? How long has it been hurting? Does it hurt after you eat or before you eat? And then I go to my toolbox or my prescriptions and see, okay, here's what I have. This is, I have this and this. Which one is a better fit for you? And that's
Wow.
kind of how I teach people to do creative finance.
Wow. So Brian, so tell me this. You broke down the gist of it. That was greatly explained, by the way. But tell me this. If what can you break down like what the typical great deal for you was, or one of your best creative finance deals? What did it look like? What was the numbers? How did you profit? And how is that deal benefiting you today?
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go over. Let's go over multiple strategies, so you guys don't think it's. People say seller finance subject to. It's deeper than that. There's so many different variations. So let's start with something really simple. Okay. All right. So we have a seller that's looking to sell a property, but they still owe a mortgage on it. So if they were looking to sell it retail, they won't really pocket as much as they want to profit. But they're looking to sell, but they don't have that much equity. We agree to the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, what if there's a way that I can take over your mortgage payments and get you cashed out down the road? It's something we should talk about, right? And they're willing to let you take over their mortgage if they can get their equity, right? And let's say they're just looking to, because there's not much equity. They're looking to walk with $5,000. If you can pay them $5,000, let me give you guys numbers, right? A seller has a property on the market for $105,000. The reason they have it on the market with $105,000 because they owe $100,000 and they're just looking to pocket $5K. Okay, and so they're thinking that they need to ask for $105 because that's what is going to allow them to walk with $5K. What we try to do is we separate their needs from the actual existing liens and mortgages. So, what if there's a way I can get you your $5K now, and then I take over those mortgage payments? Does that make sense? For most sellers, of course, because all they care about is the $5K net they're looking to get. And so your question is like, well, I don't have $5K, Brian. Well, look, just like wholesaling, before we close, while we're under contract in our due diligence period, we turn around and find someone that's willing to put $10,000 down to lease that property with an option to purchase. Okay. Now, if someone put $10K down and we only had to give the seller $5K, well, we made $5,000 up front, and we actually own the property. All right, we own the property. So someone else helped us buy a property. We didn't have to come out of pocket. Okay, and then whatever we're paying the seller on a monthly basis, if anything, typically it's not anything because they got their little piece of equity up front. So every single month, right? Whatever that mortgage payment is versus what our tenant buyer or tenant is paying, there's a spread. So we bought a house that we have all of the tax benefits from. We didn't have to come out of pocket. We didn't have to go kiss the bank's ass, right? And now we're cash flowing. So you bought a house with no money, no credit, and you're cash flowing, and you're receiving tax benefits. It's almost like doing magic. And if we want, we can steadily a step further. We can choose to sell the property on seller finance. So if the seller is expecting $5,000, we go out and find a buyer that's willing to put $20,000 down, and we go ahead and give them the deed, right? So we're no longer the owners. We no longer have the tax benefits. However, we're cash flowing because what they're paying us every single month is more than our underlying lien. And that spread every single month, it stays. It doesn't change. It doesn't change when an AC breaks or there's a roof leak that wipe out 4 or 5 months worth of cash flow, right? You can't call Wells Fargo when your AC breaks. So that's another strategy that allows us to cash flow, profit up front. In that scenario, $15,000 up front. That's a wholesale commission. But the difference is you're still receiving money hundreds of dollars every single month for the next few decades. I mean, this year I've actually, unfortunately, didn't want to, but I actually took back two properties that I'm reselling.
Wow.
I like it. I like it. So it sounds beautiful, but how does people actually find leads like this? Do you pull a certain list? Do you go to the courthouse? Do you go door knocking? Do you call houses that's listed with a realtor? How does that work?
Right. So believe it or not, these deals are the deals that people are already marketing to. So if I go and talk to almost every wholesaler and say, "Hey, let me look at your CRM. Let me look at your database. Let me talk. Let me can I see the notes on the last 100 people you talked to?" I'm sure that I can monetize or create a deal with the majority of those leads just by coming up with a few more offers. I just named two right there, right? But so to answer your question, it's the leads that everybody already else is marketing to. It's no special leads, right? It's just being able to have more options for the sellers. Now I do have favorites, right? My favorites for creative finance deals, I find that these sellers are a little more open to creative finance. Of course, is a pre-foreclosure because they have to reinstate the loan within a given time, or it's going to become REO, right? Number two, I like expired listings. The reason why, because I understand that realtors hit these lists really hard, but I gotta think about it. Someone raised their hand to sell. They had a realtor looking to help them to sell it. They didn't sell. Now another realtor's coming along. Don't you think it'd be a little more attractive if a buyer called that phone instead of a realtor and say, "Hey, I noticed I seen your property on the market. I mean, have you found a buyer or is it still available for purchase?" Right? The seller eyes light up. So pre-foreclosures, expired listings, and of course absentee owners with a mortgage, because the average American isn't really in a position to pay two mortgages, especially if the other one goes vacant, right? And so we find that those sellers become pretty motivated.
Gotcha. Got one more question before we go too far. Uh, what you just explained is like a win-win-win situation. You buying
Absolutely.
properties, no money, no credit. You're selling properties, you're getting 15, 20,000 down. You're getting cash flow every month. You have a house and you don't have to worry about any maintenance. Why do you think more people are not doing these strategies?
I mean, it sounds scary. I mean, it sounds scary because a lot of people, the biggest misconception is I'm going to graduate to creative finance. Let me start with wholesaling. And once I understand wholesaling, then creative finance. Guys, like I told you, I started with creative finance. How I was taught about this business is the biggest thing in real estate, the most, if you're a real estate investor, your highest and best ROI is going to be marketing to find motivated sellers. Sellers that are willing, they're looking to sell their properties. That's what you should be looking for. It's not about wholesaling, it's not about fixing flip. Here are all the different strategies on how you can monetize that lead. And that's how I originally learned in 2014, and I never turned back. I never was like, I'm a wholesaler, I'm a fix and flipper, I do BRRRR, buy and hold. What makes sense for this opportunity? What is my best prescription for this seller's problem at the given time that creates a win-win?
Absolutely.
Cool, cool. So one thing I want to ask you, before we go to a question from the audience, can you share a marketing strategy? Because that one thing I heard you talk about just marketing, right? And I always tell people, even when you're in real estate, we really in the marketing business because you can't sell nothing without marketing. So is there a marketing that you can share with our audience as some of value?
Yeah, so man, we got two primary sources of marketing. We tried it all in the past. We've done text blast, we've done PPC, we've done bandit sign, drop for dollars. Some of this stuff we still do, like drop for dollars. But our two for our company, our two most powerful lead sources, honestly, is cold calling. Just the skill set of getting a seller on the phone, understanding their tonality, their problems, their inflection, like all of that, right? To be able to make a friend and create a win-win situation. That's really our number one, cold calling, right? Number two, though, which probably everybody doesn't do, is ringless voicemail. We had a time where we were just, it was like, it was on steroids. We were just cheating with the ringless voicemail. So basically, if anybody doesn't know what ringless voicemail is, it's a pre-recorded message, right? So instead of cold calling and waiting for somebody to pick up on a dollar and then, trying to, close them and say, hey, you interested in the cash offer? We have a pre-recorded voice message that we send out to tens of thousands of people at one time. And we let them know if this is something you're interested in, give us a call back. If not, I'm so sorry I called you. Please disregard this message. And so what it does, while everybody is cold calling, right, you basically just push the NOS button, right? You don't have to call anybody. And so the people that's calling you are already interested. So ringless voicemail is one of our most powerful marketing strategies. It's number two, though. Cold call is number one, man. Because with ringless voicemails, they are integrating a lot of different technologies to try to block spam, because Congress got a lot of complaints, but that's kind of one of the better ones I have. Also, Facebook ads work very well, especially if your ad is very personable, right? It's not too professional. Maybe, maybe have your girlfriend or your wife in the picture, or maybe your kid or your dog, right? People love that. People want to do business with people that look like them. So that's my biggest thing for marketing, and just following up. The market is super hot. Most sellers have no reason to sell it for pennies on the dollar, because there's people that's willing to pay top dollar right now. So you have to really build rapport, and you have to follow up and be fast, right? It's all about speed in the market climate like we're in right now.
Absolutely. So Brian, real quick, man. We got a question from the audience, man. Devora asked this question, and I would definitely want to hear a response. So basically what she's saying is, have you ever had to explain to a title company how owner finance works? And since most of them are only they only use traditional closings with banks, how do you find title companies? How do you explain it to title companies? How does that process work whenever you're trying to close these creative finance deals, when most title companies simply just not equipped to deal with it?
Man, that's a great question. Did you paraphrase that, or did she really ask it like that?
Well, I added a little bit on there just to make it, you know what I mean?
You put a little sauce
Yeah,
on it?
put a little bit of sauce on it, man. But that's what she was coming
We
from.
added the back part.
Yeah, I added the back part of it. You know, the first part was all her though.
Gotcha. So check this out. Look, we got deals to do. We have opportunities to get off of, or to get after. We are not in the business of trying to create, mold a realtor, a title company, or a real estate attorney. Okay? It's 2021. There is somebody out there that is competent and understands these type of deals. So what I do, Devora, is I ask questions to see if I guess the potential title company is competent and comfortable with these type of transactions, right? And if they're not, I call the next title company, okay? Or I reach out to another investor that I know is doing creative finance deals and say, who are you closing your subject to deals with? Who are you closing your wraparound transactions with, etc. So here are some few qualifying questions. Hey, Mr. Title, Mr. Escrow Officer. Yeah, so I'm a local investor. Just looking for some other title companies, because we do get quite a large volume. I just kind of want to see if this relationship is a fit, right? Right? Because you never want to sound needy. You always want to let them know that. Because as an investor, no matter what type of strategies you're doing, if you're closing a deal at a title company, you're bringing them business. They're making money off of the title policy. So understand that you have leverage. So, Ms. Escrow Officer, right, Lindsay, Jana, Sarah. Hey, I was wondering if you guys are familiar with seller finance transactions. I close seller finance transactions, pretty often. Is this something that you guys are understand and can offer, can issue title insurance on? Simple question. I can tell you right now that 99% of them are going to say yes, probably 100% of them, because that's very simple. Then you can ask another question, right, to see if this is the right title company for you to do creative finance deals at. So, okay, so what about wraparound mortgages, Miss, Sarah? I mean, so a lot of time, there's other times when we do seller finance transactions when the actual property has an existing lien on it. And we may still owe $100,000 on that property, Sarah, but we turn around and sell it for 120, right, with a higher interest rate, and collect the down payment. Are you familiar with a wraparound mortgage, Sarah? And do you guys offer title insurance to the buyer on a transaction like this, right? If they say no, we're not familiar, or if they say yes, we are familiar, but we don't offer title insurance, that's not who you should be working with, okay? Also, you could ask them about subject twos, things like that. So ask about the type of deals that you're looking to close, and it's really just Russian roulette. If they seem confused, if they feel uncomfortable with that type of transaction, you say, I appreciate it, Sarah. Do you know any other title companies or real estate attorneys that are well versed in these type of closings and maybe will be able to help me? So you always want to ask for a referral. So the person in front of you, they can't help you. Who can? Do you know somebody that can? Thank you so much for your time. Do you know someone that can help? Same thing with, when you're talking to sellers. You're not looking to sell. Do you know someone else that would be interested in selling? So hopefully that answers your question, Devorah. It's a few screening questions. Ask about the type of transactions you're looking to close. If they're not a fit, call the next one. But before you call the next one, ask for a referral. Also look at other investors who's closing those type of deals. Who do you use?
All right, I gotta take it
real
back a bit.
Quick. I want to say this because specifically, there's multiple attorneys I work with. I have attorneys that will not touch a subject to, right? And they're real estate attorneys, and they're just kind of like it just seems sketchy, and it's kind of like, well, because they never. It's just like every doctor, right? If your foot is hurting, you go to a podiatrist, right? Not a neurosurgeon, right? And vice versa. So just because somebody's a real estate attorney doesn't mean that they're versed in everything. So I have real estate attorneys that will close a seller finance transaction if the property is free and clear, but they won't do a wraparound mortgage. I have a specific attorney out of San Antonio. He's been doing wraparound mortgages for the last 30 years. Matter of fact, he has a product they call the Wally Wrap. It's named after him. Right? And so you always want to find and work with people with what they're the most good at. And don't try to patch anything else because, you'll miss out on a lot of opportunities and mess up a lot of deals.
All right, I gotta take it back a bit. So you're a full-time entrepreneur now. You quit your job when you was what, 32, 33?
Yeah, 33.
All right, and you was working 12-hour shifts, days, nights. It was like 60 hours a week, right?
50 to 70 hours a week. Yep.
Okay, this is for everybody. This is for the people. If somebody has a full-time job, how do you build a successful real estate business while you have a full-time job? How do you do that? Because a lot of people, they want to replace their six-figure job, but I need my free time to hang out with my wife. I need my free time to kick in my kids.
You ain't trying to build nothing, man. You got to sacrifice.
How do you do that?
I would say, first of all, what you said at the end, if you're thinking like that, it might not be the time because there's going to be times that you're not going to be balanced, right? And you're going to have to go all in. I mean, success takes sacrifice, It's kind of hard to have it all because when you're balanced, you're not focused on one thing. And when you're focused on one thing, you're usually not balanced. And so entrepreneurship is going to be like a teeter-totter between both at different seasons, right? And you need to be around people that understand that. So I would say if you're really looking to build something and create something, man, start with the first hire, right? Somebody to take the day-to-day away from you, right? And then just kind of like build on that until you have an infrastructure where you can leave.
So the number one thing is leave the fucking excuses at home. That's what I heard. Where the excuses?
Nice. So Brian, go ahead, Brian. Would you?
No, it's on you, Byron.
Okay. So Oh, there you go. Brian, if you can hear me when you come back, I want you to answer the question about your mindset.
This is the
We're
first
gonna
time
get
somebody walked off the screen.
Oh, Neil, you done chase Brian away, bro.
I probably did. I probably did.
No, I'm gonna wait till you come back though, and yeah, that way we can ask him about mindset, man. Because I'm always curious to know, as far as what our entrepreneurs that we have on here, what type of mindset, what type of books, what really started shifting their mindset when it came to this thing. Because we know, like, the good thing is, all of us know the how to tell somebody something. But honestly, probably out of the hundreds and thousands of people we talk to, probably only two
One
percent took action.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead, pose that question to Brian, if you don't mind.
So Brian, let me ask you this, man, because again, we got some people that's getting some great information. You dropping so many gems, and the thing I think that people want to overlook when they get into this business is mindset. And I can I can tell the way when I first met you, bro. That's one thing that you pour into people. You talk about mindset. So I want you to talk about what was your mind shift when it came to it, and then what would you recommend, any books or any programs for people to really get on that get that mindset kick.
Man, great question. So, absolutely, and I get it, man. You seeing people post checks, you see people driving Lamborghinis and taking vacations. You like, look, man, show me how to do it. I don't need to talk about all that hoorah, right? Show me how, right? Show me the steps. Show me the sauce. But man, it's mindset before skill set. Mindset before skill set. Mindset is the foundation before you learn the skills. Because what'll happen if you don't focus on the mindset first is that you'll be working so hard, you'll be reading all the books, you'll be in all, you'll buy everybody's course, right? You'll go to all the events, and you wonder like, why hasn't it just blew up for me? Why hasn't it just worked for me? And you don't know it's some internal belief or way of thinking, right? That you have that's stopping you from getting to where you want to be. So
Wow.
that is definitely right. You can't really install, Windows. I mean, like you can't put You guys know you can't put. I don't know what the newest version of iOS is, but let's say 11.8. You can't put that on an iPhone 4. It's not even compatible.
Facts.
It's not even compatible. They'll say you gotta have at least an iPhone 8 or above. That's the same thing when you're trying to learn all this creative finance, buying mobile homes, leveraging the bank, wholesaling. When you're trying to learn how to be successful and create a team on that, but you still have a DOS that's doing dial-up, right? You gotta get the software right. You gotta get the hardware work before you download the software. My biggest mindset shift, Byron, was actually, it wasn't even a book. I do have some great books that I would recommend, but my biggest hack or tweak to getting this right is upgrade your circle. Hang around other people, right? That started this whole thing for me, right? Because it's exposure. You only know what you've seen.
Right.
And if you're only exposed to people that maybe have only made $200,000 in their life, right? And they've only, maybe traveled within the United States. They never owned a business. It's kind of hard for you to really feel comfortable like you can do anything more if you've never seen what it looked like. So the biggest mindset shift, Byron, bro, change the circle, man. Level up, hang around people that force your mind to expand. That was kind of the biggest thing for me. If you're talking about specific books, I think if you give me a top three, I'm gonna say As a Man Thinketh. It's a really easy book, really simple. You can read in an hour and a half. It focuses on how everything you think materializes and manifests in real life. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's another good book. It's really simple. It's an easy read. Just the principles of just doing, not going all out and exerting. A lot of people say, man, I just want to get there. I haven't been doing nothing all my life, but now I'm juiced up, so I just want to go all in, right? And they go all in and they stop, go all in and stop. Instead of being like the tortoise, it's just consistent. Consistent. And that consistency yields super huge returns down the line. So the Compound Effect is a great book. And last but not least, I'm sorry, these are kind of like together, right? I call them twins. What's it? Think how to no. Kiyosaki. Rich
Oh
Dad
yeah,
Poor
yeah.
Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That's the foundation. If you have, I'm sure everybody on you guys' that watches you guys show have read that. But if you haven't, and you've been hearing entrepreneurs talk about it for the last 5 years, you need to install that into your mind. Your whole life will change. And another book that is really powerful is kind of like that on steroids. Is called Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. Those 4 books, man, I guarantee you read those 4 books, probably gonna be a different person. It's gonna start the trajectory where your eyes are open and now you just walked into the matrix and you're hungry for a different type of life. So
Brian, real quick, I'm gonna dig a little personal. I'm gonna dig a little personal with this one. But tell me this, from a mindset perspective, what were some of the main mindset issues you had to overcome as an early entrepreneur that you felt like were the most transformative whenever you was able to get past it or understand it better or get more clarity on? What were those transformative things for you personally that you struggled with that you was able to overcome and it yielded fruit in your life?
So 2 things. Man, that's a good question. Bro, you wrote you thought about that one. That was a good question.
Yeah.
So the number one thing is, as an investor, always thinking about what I currently have. There's 50 units. Somebody got, oh man, I ain't got the money to buy 50 units. I can't. That's 5 million. What up, mama? Like that right there will, but it takes some development and it takes some understanding for you to be comfortable and confident to know that you never base an opportunity based on what you have in your actual possession. So that right there took me a long time to graduate to. Does that make sense? Or you want me to break that down a little bit more?
Let's break it down.
So when people come in to become a real estate investor, they base what they can actually capitalize on and take down or a deal they could do based on what they know, how much money they have, and their credit score or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their experience, their money, their credit, okay? Or and if it doesn't fit with what they feel like they have at the moment, what do? They pass it up. They feel like they're not ready yet. It's bigger than them,
Wow.
They focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest thing. It took me a while, and then I finally learned. It was like, it's called, Tony Robbins talking about being resourceful. I don't have to have the money. If you got a $10 million deal tomorrow, right, and it's a good deal, I'm going to buy it, right? I'm going to put myself in position to secure the deal, and there's plenty of people that are looking for opportunities just like this that I can make that happen, all right? If somebody needs an 850 credit score, right, to finance this, guess what? There's plenty of people out there with that type of credit score that has no idea on how to find an opportunity. I think Senegal said it best, you guys know how he said somebody, you don't need all 3, right? You just need one. So that was the biggest thing for me, Byron, to overcome passing up on so many different opportunities, because I'm like, thinking I wasn't there yet. I didn't have the resources yet.
Wow.
Now, if it's an opportunity, I'm not passing up on anything.
Wow. That's powerful. If
that makes any sense.
Perfect sense.
So I got a question. It's for Brian and Byron. So y'all guys are partners. So Talk about the benefits and the power of partnership. Cause,
Um,
cause I got a follow up question to that as well. I got a follow up question.
Yeah, so the benefits of a partnership is not because a lot of people, what they do, a lot of people mess up with partnerships too. They want to start a new business, so they call their friend, like, let's do it together. They're not pissed off because the other person's working harder than them. And the biggest benefit to partnerships, Oneil, is being able to bridge your weaknesses. And so there is no weakness because everybody's going to be good at something and not so good at something else, right? And so when you can bridge that gap to where it's like, all right, well, we're not lacking anything because we've sealed all of that because we've brought somebody else on that complements our weaknesses. That's the benefit of partnerships. That's what I think, and that's how I really feel like that's how all partnerships should work. That's how marriages should work. It should be somebody that complements something that you're not good at, and you should stand back and let them be good at what they're good at, respect what they're good at, and learn from them, right? But don't put so much of a burden on yourself to be good at the things that they are good at. So everybody focus on their highest and best use, and you guys conquer together. That's the benefit of partnership to me. What you think, Byron?
I think that's 100% accurate. I think that's 100% accurate.
And he 100% against partnerships.
Who that?
Who's that?
Byron Owens.
Yeah, I am because I think most people join partnerships for the wrong reasons.
I think so too.
You know what I mean?
Two friends just like, hey, let's go do this, and they both don't know shit.
Yeah.
You gotta bring value to the table.
Got to bring value.
Because they want it to be easy. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like why are you picking him as your partner? You want moral support. You don't need moral support. You could hire somebody to do what you want them to do. Yeah, for sure. But
So my
Byron, part of Byron was definitely methodical.
So my follow up, I guess, question or statement is: both of you guys partnered together. I think y'all both slowed down. Well, Brian quit his full time job. Byron, you still got yours, right? You ain't full time. It's when you want to go.
Yeah.
So y'all went from both making over 6 figures a year to making 6 figures a month to making 6 figures in a week. How do you think that happened for you guys? Because a lot of people can't do that. That is like less than 1% of people can do that. So can y'all talk to us about that?
I would say the partnership had a lot to do with it, because man, you gotta have systems in place, right? And Byron was the guy that put the systems in place. I was the guy that is able to teach the team, motivate the team, right? Move the team to be on the same vision, right? Come up with the ideas or whatever to get us there. Right, where he's looking at all the details and the metrics and the GPS while we're doing it, right? So that was the biggest thing for me. Byron could get a little more detail on how we got there, but I think that balance of roles and responsibilities is what helped us to get there. And the biggest thing, man, I was telling somebody this the other day. I was in a business meeting. As you grow as an entrepreneur, you get new aha moments. What I found is the biggest hack as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it goes back to people, right? So if you want to hang around a different circle, different people, if you want to have a successful company or business, hire the right people. If you get the right people working for you in the right seats, it's kind of like, wow, this is it's moving on its own. So I want to credit the majority of everything to people. I know Byron's going to say KPIs and systems, which I agree is important, but it's something about having the right people. They just figure out a mess and make it happen and then come home with a trophy.
Yeah.
I think
That's
the right
a fact.
people make KPIs and systems better.
Absolutely.
They can work them.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts about that, Brian?
I think the same thing. I am a systems guy, right? I'm a systems guy. So I believe, I like to know to every single penny, where our profit centers are. So that's number one. So I'm big on understanding where our profit centers are, how much we're spending to get there, right? and what can we cut back to get there more efficiently and faster. And so I'm constantly kind of like reviewing the engine while Brian is constantly focused on how we can keep driving, right? And I think that synergy is what creates, a great team. You know what I mean? Somebody got to focus on keeping the engine working, right? While somebody else is focusing on where we headed. You know what I mean? So I think when you can have that combination, it's just bound to work. You know what I mean? With any partnership. So that's always my philosophy. But I am big on KPIs, systems, SOPs, making sure that all of the things are just kind of clicking the way that they need to be clicking, man, and that that our profit centers are on point. You know what I mean? Listen, at the end of the day, I look at it like this, man. The company ain't gonna fire you. It's gonna be your performance based on the metrics that's gonna fire you. So I let the seat be responsible for taking you out, not necessarily my personal feelings or my personal opinion on who you are as a person. If your numbers is right, I'm rocking with you. Your numbers ain't right, we got to figure out another strategy or move in a different direction. So that's my philosophy on that piece.
I think it's also cool when you got a company to put people in places that they'll excel and they like to do, right? Because as soon as you got somebody in a position where it just feels like a job, it's a chore, they're going to do just enough to get by. But when you get somebody in a seat or a position or doing a job task that makes them, it's been about 5 months ago, we stopped going to all the meetings. What I mean by that is that we are in attendance, but I don't go to the meetings that Byron is like good at and vice versa, right? I'm over acquisition managers, right? Sales and leads, right? He's not present in those meetings, right? He doesn't need to be. He's not going to be totally tuned in. I'm not going to be in the dispositions meetings, the transactions meetings, right? And things like that. So just let everybody be and operate where they perform the best at. That's how you get to $100,000 a week.
Absolutely.
You do it with a smile on your face, not like, oh, I'm waking up, I really don't want to go. I really, do it with a smile on your face.
Straight up.
Man, listen, Brian, when I tell you came and blazed it as usual, you know what I'm saying? Always dropping gems, always coming with a positive attitude. Real quick, Brian, now I see they can follow you, but like, do you have any like programs, anything like that for people to, to learn from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, of course, YouTube is I have some videos there is still super relevant to this day. Brian Iregbu, first name, last name, on YouTube. House Brian Brown on Instagram. As far as programs, Creative REI Academy. We do coaching calls every single week, right? Some of these coaching calls have been lasting like 2.5 hours lately. I've had students been with me, a couple of years. I have students that have quit their 9 to 5 and now they got their own office. But if you go to my profile, the link in my bio, you could actually see that and check it out and see if that's something this is fit for you. I light up teaching people about creative finance, right? A lot of people think that all they can do is wholesale and collect assignment fees and make an investor rich, right? When that's not the case, you don't need all those resources while you're working on building up your capital, while you're building your credit. You could definitely be buying properties and building your portfolio. So I would love to have anybody that's interested.
Man, listen, y'all heard it. All right, make sure y'all not only following, make sure y'all tap in. You definitely want to get into that community. Brian, high level investor. You see his partner. If you following us, man, Byron is his partner, man. When I tell you these brothers is down there killing the H-Town, man, killing Texas in general. It's so dope to see, just seeing their growth. And then, just blessed to call these guys brothers, man. So let me tell y'all something. First and foremost, if you tuned in today, you invested in yourself, and that's the biggest investment that you can make. Make sure you share. Make sure you like this. Make sure you share, subscribe, and like this podcast. We will see you next week. Make sure you got your pen and pad ready. We love y'all. Until next time, salute.
Peace.